what's happening, everybody? What's happening? Right now, be honest. Are you thinking about Sam Darnold? Are you thinking about him? In one way or the other? Are you? Were you? Come on. Man, is it getting crazy with Sam Darnold out there? Oh my gosh. Before we get going into everything, I am GreenBean. This is Greenbeanjetsfan, episode 15. I'm blown away every week. Every week. It's like I don't know how I'm doing this. I don't get it. I really don't. Before we move on from who I am to what we're going to be talking about, I'd like to remind you how important it is to subscribe to the YouTube channels that you like, that you enjoy. It is quite literally currency out in the YouTube world. If you like a video, take the extra second to hit that subscribe button. If you like the content you're seeing, please just click that little thumbs up icon. It means the world. It changes everything. It changes the algorithm. It works like currency, so YouTube actually knows that we're out here doing a good job. I know you can do it. I know you want to do it, and I know you're going to do it. And I thank you in advance for doing it. I don't know how I got there, but not too bad. So I'd also like to remind you that if you need more Jets content, if you're out there on Twitter and you've read all the daily news and the New York News Days and ESPN and all that sort of stuff, if you want yet more Jet content, do not forget to head over to Jetnation.com. You're going to have more Jets content than you can stomach. If you want to talk to people about things, there are more people on there talking about the Jets than you can imagine. Thousands of people. Go on at 2:35 a.m. You'll see there's 100 people on there like, hey, what are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing? I want to talk Jets. Yeah, me too. Let's argue. That's what it's like. Okay? You can always find someone on Jetnation.com. And if you want to see more of our videos or hear the Jet Nation podcast, you can go to YouTube and type in Jet Nation there as well. That's where the On the Road with GreenBean content is as well. So, one last thing. You guys know what I'm doing out here? I just put out a video for Six Flags Over Georgia. Why did I do that? Because I'm taking my family around this great country of ours to ride every single roller coaster that there is. All 770 of them. We're about 100 and change in on this particular tour, and we're calling it the Full-Time Coaster Tour. Please go over to that YouTube channel, Full-Time Coaster Tour, and give me a sub over there. Check out the content over there. If you're into coasters at all, if you have any interest, if you're curious, I think you're going to like that page. And again, it helps me out. So, Sam Darnold, huh? What is it about this guy? Jets fans, I want to tell you something. This is going to be a good show, okay? And why do I say that? Because, number one, we're going to talk about the favorite person for Jets fans to talk about, Sam Darnold. Okay, we're going to talk about him. You're angry with him. You love him. You think the Jets did him wrong. You think we need to move on. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Sam Darnold has come across your lips or thumbs this week. I know it has. Don't tell me. Stop it. I already know. I already know. But even more important, guys, this is the episode where I had the honor. I'm going to use it. I don't like to use that word very often. I'm going to say it. I had the honor, the privilege, the excited joy to interview Murf from Top Billin. He's right here. He's on deck. And we're going to get into some of the draft prospects. We really focused on a particular position. The tight ends, we went deep into the potential tight ends and what the Jets might do. We also get into Chris Herndon quite deeper than most people do. And we talk about all things Jets and the draft right here on this episode. That'll be in just a few minutes. I'm not going to take too much time to get to it because the interview's kick-ass. Murf from Top Billin is right here for you. You're going to love it. And I know this because I loved it. And I'm excited about it. But it's great. If anybody knows what he's talking about, it's Murf. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of good dudes out there, a lot of guys that know what they're talking about. I don't think any of them got him on him. And he's here for you, Jets fans, through me, GreenBean, rock and roll. So, Sam Darnold, what is it? What is it? Why can't Jets fans? I have a plea. A question. I'm dying to know. Why is it that we can't just think that we need to do something without hating the other thing? Why? Why does it got to be this way? I've gotten into more arguments this week on Twitter. I'm just a nice guy. You know this. You know. I'm a nice guy. I'm out here saying, hey, I don't know if that's accurate because of this. I don't know. I'm just trying to be objective. People say, you don't know what you're talking about, man. You're a this. You can suck my that. I'm like, what? Why are you talking like that to me? Besides, I'll kick your ass, man. A younger version of myself. Oh, I couldn't handle it. I don't know how you guys handle it. I'm old and tired now, man. I'm all peace-loving and shit. Back in the day, I couldn't handle Facebook, social media. You guys, the things that people are saying to each other out there, I swear, I have no idea. I'd be in jail. Something. I couldn't handle it. I would have found a way to remove the anonymity, because people get real warm and comfy inside anonymity, don't they? They say, oh, yeah, whatever. They say whatever they want to say. And they know it's because you don't know where they live. Now, I'm not saying anybody should do anything. I'm just saying I couldn't handle it. But anyway, the things that people are saying about our young man, Sam Darnold, the kid's 24 years old. He was drafted by the Jets. The poor guy. Just think about starting your NFL career this way. The guy wore a brown tie to the draft. Why did he do that? Why do you think he did that? Does anybody know? Because I know. He'll say it's not the case. He'll deny it. But I already know. He wore a brown tie to the draft because he thought he was going to be the first overall pick, because that's what everybody said. Everybody said it. They said Sam Darnold is the hands-down, unquestionable best quarterback in this draft. He is going to be the first overall pick because he is the first overall quarterback on deck. He's the guy. So the Cleveland Browns were there at the first overall pick. So he wore a brown tie. He thought he was smart. He thought he was slick. He thought he was going to fit right in with the new fans. He wanted to endear himself. And then, as we've all seen that video, the Browns take Baker Mayfield. The Giants take Saquon Barkley. Barkley. That didn't feel right. It was like in the back of my brain. Something happened. Something was wrong, GreenBean. Don't move on. So the Giants take Saquon Barkley. And what does Sam Darnold do? You've seen it. He leans over. He looks at Josh Allen. He says, this is crazy. It's pick 3, dude. I'm wearing a fucking brown tie. I'm wearing a brown tie. The Browns took Baker Mayfield? 2 weeks ago, he wasn't even he was the 4th in the top 4 by many people's estimations. It's too little, right? First, and then the Giants took a running back at the 2nd overall pick. They're not supposed to do that anymore. They're not supposed to do that. This is crazy, he said to Josh Allen. Josh Allen said, whatever, pretty boy. Whatever. You're wearing a brown tie like a moron. You should have wore something neutral. Pink. So he thought he was going to go first overall. So he started his NFL career with shocking disappointment. Went to a team that's no worse than the Browns. I mean, the Browns, their history is just as bad, right? So it wasn't that. But it was the shock of not being the first quarterback and being the 3rd pick as opposed to the first pick. And then he goes to the Jets, the Todd Bowles Walking Dead season, where he just fired an offensive coordinator for no reason. The guy who looked like he was actually worth something. He fired his offensive coordinator to go deep into the tundra, the woods, wherever he went, to find Jeremy Bates, who was an NFL cast-off. He brings on Jeremy Bates, the 3rd offensive coordinator in 4 years from Todd Bowles, who decides, I'm so good at this, even though the NFL has cast me aside and I haven't been working in years. I'm so good at this, I don't need any help. I'm not going to hire a quarterback coach to work with the 3rd overall pick. That's Sam Darnold's first year. And he has a good year. He has a decent year, right? Good. Gave us all hope. We all know the rest of the story. I don't have to do the lineage, but we know Adam Gase, the worst hire ever. Every single one of us knew it. And then he doesn't hire a quarterback coach either. Why do you think just Sam Darnold and Josh McCown are so close? That was the only thing close to a quarterback coach he's had in his whole career. He loves McCown. So we did the guy wrong. Can anybody really argue that point? Can anybody, and I made a whole video about the Jets not being a franchise that ruins quarterbacks. That's not what we are. People like to think it, and they like to use that catchphrase. The Jets ruin quarterbacks. That's not true. If you look at our history, it's simply not true. But did we ruin Sam Darnold? Hell yeah, we did. At least the first 3 years of his career. So we have this thing where he was our savior, brown tie wearing savior, to hope, progress his second year, to a walking dead coach with no quarterback coach, Dowell Loggins running around there pretending to call plays. What was that? We looked at Dowell Loggins, Adam, and we saw he was talking to the player, and you were with the card in front of your face talking into the microphone, and you said Dowell Loggins was calling the plays. Yes, he was. But we watched you do it. Well, maybe I called that play. It's like, what? So that's the year that we had to, that's the year that we're all judging here. Now that's fine. Like I said, I'm on the side that think we should move on from Sam Darnold. But where's the hate coming from? I don't understand it. There are guys out there right now on Twitter that are, if you're a Sam Darnold supporter, there are guys on Twitter accumulating your tweets right now for when Sam Darnold is traded. When you're saying, because you're saying that you want the reasons why you want Sam Darnold to stay, which is valid. I'm not on that side, but it's valid, right? There are guys copying your tweets, stockpiling them to give back to you when Sam is traded. I don't know why, but they're doing it. There are also guys that are throwing insults at each other. Like, how many times do I tell you guys this? We are Jets fans, okay? We are fans of the one franchise in this league that every single media, talking head, pundit, talk show, everyone, no matter what team they cover, no matter what section of the country they're from, every single one of them likes to poke at the Jets and us, the Jets fans. Every single one of them. They love it. Did you know, you might have caught this too. I caught this week. Remember all the Trevor Lawrence when we had the first overall pick? You know, when we were the worst team with no wins? They were talking about Trevor Lawrence snubbing us, and Steve Young said he shouldn't go to the Jets. Or, you know what I mean? Remember all that shit? Roddy White. Remember all that? When the guy came out and said they should change the process of the worst team getting the first overall pick because Trevor Lawrence, the golden boy, shouldn't have to go to a franchise that ruins quarterbacks like the Jets? That's what we were dealing with. As soon as we got the second overall pick in the Jags, that went away. That narrative is gone. You've never heard it again. It's gone. But this week, it popped up again that Zach Wilson should snub the Jets. I know you heard it. If you didn't, check it out. It's out there. It was out there this week. I didn't even read it. I just saw a headline and said, fuck this. I'm not reading this. It's dumb. I didn't even click on the article. But it's happening. So I don't know the details of it because, like I said, I didn't read it. But I saw it. So with that being known by us, you know that every NFL fan loves us to suck. You know that every NFL team loves the Jets to suck. You know the NFL loves for us to suck. You know every media person in the country that covers football wants us to stay where we are. They love it. They love us to suck. So why is it that we can't stay united and get each other's backs? Why can't we just talk like civil human beings? If I want to keep Sam Darnold, why am I an asshole? If you want to trade back, why are you a piece of shit? Why? It's what you hope. At the end of the day, none of us have a choice, right? I don't have a choice. If I had a choice, we would have been to 9 Super Bowls already. I'm telling you. And I know half of you wouldn't have agreed with me on my choices on the way to doing it. So, poor Sam Darnold. The truth is, we're more than likely moving on from him. You guys know this. Now, the guy we're going to pick, I don't know. A lot of people are talking about Zach Wilson like he's Trevor Lawrence. Like, I don't know. I've heard 100 times this week he's better than Trevor Lawrence. And I already know what that all is anyway. And you guys should know too. I'm not saying Zach Wilson's a bad quarterback. As you know, I like him. I do. If Joe Douglas picks him, I'm fine. I'm happy, man. We got a new quarterback. I'm great. It's not the guy I would take, but it's fine. Whatever Joe Douglas wants to do, I'm in. But I already know what all this just Zach Wilson, best quarterback who's ever walked the face of the earth stuff is. And you guys should too. It's smoke. Now, that's not to say Joe Douglas doesn't love the kid. I'm not saying that. But every single thing that goes on right now, this is rumor season. This is smoke and mirror season. This is the season of manipulation and misdirection. Happens every year. No one knows shit. But what do? We believe it and we start stabbing each other. Why? You are the only people that are going to get my back in the thick of this shit. And I'm not telling you, I'm one of the only people that's going to get yours. Anybody wearing different colors, if they're not wearing green, white, and black, when everybody starts piling on, they're going to laugh, man. They're going to laugh at you. They're going to go, fucking Jets. There you go. I don't know why you're a Jets fan. You're going to sit there and stew. You got to remember that. The guys that we're arguing with on Twitter or Jetnation or Instagram or whatever it is, those are your brothers, man. We're it. It's us against the world. I keep saying this. I keep saying it. Don't forget it, man. Don't forget it. It breaks my heart. My widow heart. It breaks my heart. Try to remain objective, because if you put all your eggs in one basket, yeah, you might be the guy who's right. You might. But if I've learned anything over my 38 years of being a Jets fan, a diehard, is that what you think's going to happen isn't happening. So be careful. Be careful of which horse you're hitching your cart to. You might just want to hold back until after rumor season to hitch your horse to shit, your cart to anything. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. Is that the opposite's gonna happen that you wanted to happen? And the people that you called jerks or whatever else you called them, they're gonna be there within a second. They're gonna be there. And they're gonna laugh and it's gonna suck. I'm just telling you. They shouldn't, but they're gonna. Let's say this happens. Let's say it happens, because it still can, because we've never heard anything from Joe Douglas that says otherwise. Let's say we go into the season, we didn't trade Sam Darnold because Joe Douglas never was gonna, and he trades back 3 times to gain picks, and he takes, Rashawn Slater with pick 18 in the first round. What if he does that? Does Joe Douglas suck now because you didn't go along with what you thought? Or what all these guys told you was going to happen? It's a sure thing. It's a lock. I'm just saying, be careful, man. Now, I want you to know, I don't disagree with anybody yet because like I said, I've been around a long time. And I'm not upset by anything. I'm not going to be upset by anything, guys. I'm really not. You know what would upset me? If we stayed at 2 and we took a guard. Or not even. If we took, like, a safety. Something like that. Even if we just took, like, Devontae Smith at 2. Great player. But I'd be like, man, you didn't squeeze the lemon. There's a lot more Pringles at the bottom of that tube. You threw it out before we were done. You know what I mean? There was more in there. It's okay. It's good enough. I don't like that. I don't like good enough, right? I want Joe Douglas to squeeze the lemon. That's what I want. So if we did that, I'd be disappointed. I would. If we stay at 2 and don't take a quarterback, I'm going to be pissed off. If we stay at 2 and take any one of the top 3 guys, 4 guys, I'm going to be like, that's the guy. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to be like, yep, I like them all. I do. I think different things about each one, but if Joe Douglas likes Justin Fields or Trey Lance or Mac Jones or it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I definitely don't see what you guys are seeing about any of them. You got the factions, right? I don't see any of it. I think they're all good. They all have their differences. I think they all have their negatives, man. If you think someone's a perfect prospect, you gotta be careful, because I've never seen a perfect prospect. And minimizing negatives and stuff because it fits the narrative that I want to happen. It's just never safe. I get my feelings hurt whenever I do that. So the draft is gonna come. It's coming. And we're going to have a blast, man. It's going to be a good time. Unless you go in like, please, God, do the thing because I said so much. Just make me right. Make me right. We're going to get into all kinds of positions. It's going to be such a good last 3 weeks before this draft. If you handle it right. Look into the prospects. Educate yourself. Look deep. Go into Draft Tech. Go into Draft Network. And learn these players. Watch full game tapes. Get some evaluators, some analysts that are good, like Murf, and watch what they're saying about guys that you might not see otherwise. Be careful of the source when you're telling this is the best guy I've ever seen. Generational talent. Generational means once in a generation. That's what it means. How come I hear that every single year? It's not a new generation next year. That's not what that is. I love dissecting these guys. I love learning about these guys. I love guys. You know what? There are guys that on the surface look so good. And then you learn about their weaknesses and you go, ooh. Shit, I was really liking this guy last week. Go, I hope they don't draft him. I like that. I like to know. Like when we called Cam Clark's name last year, I went, yes! Nice! Now, a lot of Jets fans are like, hey, man, offensive lineman, good stuff. But Cam Clark, man, I was just looking into him the week before. I was just watching some stuff on him. I was like, that's a good guy to take in the later rounds, man. I like that. Like, I might like 4 through 7 more than 1 through. I mean, it's more exciting up top. It is. But I might like the back end better. That's where good GMs make their money, man. And if we got a good one, if he is as good as I'm hoping he is, shit. That's where it's going to happen. And we got a whole bunch of 5ths and 6ths over the next couple of years. He's stockpiling them. Why? Could be because he has faith in himself and his scouting department. He knows that, dude, we got so many guys to get on the back end. But the first thing we're going to do, we already did offensive lineman. I already had Lawrence Owen on from Colts Law talking about some offensive linemen. We're going to do that again for the draft. We're going to have some wide receiver talk soon. We're going to get into these guys, man. We're going to dig in deep. We're going to look at some names that you might not know. Try to educate each other. Let's be the educated fan base that doesn't go out of their way to hurt each other's feelings. I don't know what that is, man. Because we're it. Make no mistake, while you're stockpiling future pain for other Jets fans, the rest of the world is out there stockpiling daggers for you. So cut the shit. Cut it out. Cut it out. Let's just hang out, man. You got guys like BKLYN Brooklyn 929 on Twitter giving out Jet stuff to Jets fans every day. Signed rookie cards and signed Crabette jerseys and all kinds of stuff. You got one guy inviting another guy over to watch the draft with them. They never met. They were on Twitter. They became friends. That's the stuff that's going on out there too. That's the stuff I like. I'm going to be coming up to New Jersey, New York, and we're going to have some meetups. We're going to ride roller coasters together, and we're going to hang out, man. I hope nobody wants to stab me when I get up there. Shit, what is that? What do you get so angry for? You going to bring all my tweets with you? Look what you said. You're wrong. Maybe I am. What do you say? What do you say we remember we're Jets fans and that the whole world hates our guts? What do you say we go into this draft by educating ourselves? Why is it that we think Sam Darnold's ceiling is whatever? Why is it that I think the Jets should move on? Why is it that I want them to keep him? And when it doesn't happen your way, how am I going to get through this? Because I still want to root for the team. Am I going to sell my tickets? Am I going to boycott? Like, what are we talking about here? So I hope you guys can get through this rumor season, because I'm going to tell you right now, most of the shit you think is going to happen probably isn't. I hope it does for your sake. I do. I hope nobody has a heart attack over this stuff. But I feel better. Shoo-wee. Let me tell you, it's been tough. I've been feeling it. I feel good all of a sudden, boys. I do. And girls. You know what? I'll tell you what. Right here, right next to me, there's a couple Bills Mafia people. They're from Syracuse. And they saw my new truck banner. And he came over and he said, huh? And my flag and everything. He said, you want to borrow a Bills Mafia shirt? I said, yeah, I don't have any firewood. I'm out. Let's burn it together. But that's the stuff. You know what I mean? That's where to direct it. It shouldn't be anger, but that's where to get your dukes up. What's up, Buffalo fan? What do you got? You think your team's good? They suck. Josh Allen's a fraud. Right? He better be a damn fraud. That's what I've been saying for 3 years. So anyway, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into all the players. We're going to get into everything that I hope you guys can learn. If I have one charge, one hope, one objective with all this stuff, number one, I hope we can have some laughs, right? But one real thing I hope to accomplish is through this, both myself and some of you will be educated on, learn some stuff. Learn. Let's be better football fans. When we're watching the game, I want to know a little bit better what's going on. When I'm looking at the process, the free agency, the draft, I'd like to know a little bit more about what that is, what's actually happening. So there's no better way to do that than with Murf. I'm going to tell you right now. From Top Billin. So we're going to go ahead and get right into that. right now. Please welcome my honored guest, Murf from YouTube's top BILLIN Sports. All right, everybody, this is GreenBean, and I am delighted today. I'm in the best mood ever because I have quite literally one of my favorite YouTube football experts with me today. This is Murf Baldwin from Top BILLIN Sports. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. How you doing?
I'm so good today. I'm in the best mood, like I said. So Murf has agreed to come on with me because we're going to talk about a specific position that the Jets might be looking for in the NFL draft. Now, a lot of people like to minimize the tight end position, but I hold it in very high regard. And I wanted to get your opinion on the top candidates coming out. But before we do that, I wanted to ask you, we have this guy on our team by name of Chris Herndon. Now, he came in as a fourth-round pick. He had a decent rookie year, got the fan base excited, and has disappeared, whether it's suspensions or injuries or what have you. Do you think there's any reason, for the Jets fans to have hope that Chris Herndon could still be that premier tight end in the NFL?
Premier tight end? No, Chris Herndon is not a premier tight end. He's somebody that I covered at the University of Miami for canesport.com when I worked at Rivals. And even then, he was a complimentary tight end to David Njoku, who himself is a complimentary tight end to anybody else he's on the team with. So to me, Chris Herndon is not an elite level tight end. He's a complimentary tight end, but he's also somebody who can fit in a Kyle Shanahan style system. I look at him as somebody with good traits, not necessarily great traits, and that's across the board. He has good size, not great size. He has good athleticism, not great athleticism. He has good hands, not great hands. You know what I mean? So just stuff like that. So he's somebody that you would definitely want on the roster. But even throughout his career, man, he's somebody that can disappear at times. He's somebody that can flash at times as well. So maybe if you have somebody that can hone in and get that up out of him, but I don't see it if we're talking about being elite. But you don't have to be elite to be impactful. And I think he can have a little bit of impact there. I would definitely go beyond him in the rest of the players that I've seen on the roster here. I don't know who they signed in free agency, but
they signed a blocker, Tyler Croft.
From the Bengals, Buffalo. Used to be with the Bengals. Yeah, Buffalo.
Right.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a season or two in Cincinnati that I thought was pretty good, but he's definitely a C or D type tight end. If you're looking for a blocker, though, you got to think about this from this particular standpoint. If you're talking about LaFleur's offense, so you're going to get a lot of blocking out in the perimeter with those stretch plays, and also they're going to run a lot of 21 personnel. So you're going to have somebody that's a little bit versed in that, because then when they alternate to your 12 personnel, you don't want to have somebody who's going to come off the field. So the first guy I would look at, right, would be Pat Freiermuth. That would be my guy right there, but I won't go beyond him first. And I would talk about a guy like Tommy Tremble, because he can fill a couple of different roles. Tommy Tremble from Notre Dame, he's just like Chris Herndon. Right. I knew about Chris Herndon way back in the day because being here in Georgia, he's from Norcross, Georgia, right down the street from where I came up at. And Tommy Tremble's just like that too. They have very similar size. Maybe Tremble's a little bit, I don't know, they're about 6'4", 250, so they're probably roughly the same size. But I would say that Tommy Tremble adds an element to a Kyle Shanahan style system that would be remarkable. He is a phenomenal blocker, extremely physical. He can get after it, whether it be through inline blocking, start blocking, put him out there on the perimeter. He can anchor a blocking run game. So he's one of these guys that I think will fit the bill, because he can also play that Kyle Juszczyk role. I don't know who the Jets would have to be a fullback. You got any idea?
Yeah, we have a man, he came out of West Virginia, named Trevon Wesco, and he's like a devastating blocker. He's got better hands than Adam Gase used him for, but we think that maybe he could fill that position. Not quite the same skill set as Juszczyk, but we think that he might have some potential for that position. What about his size? I think he's actually 6'4", 250-ish, to maybe 260. Yeah, close to there. A bigger guy.
And he could play inline, you believe?
Yeah, he plays inline most of the time. And like I said, they haven't really
fullback.
Yeah, well, that's the hope so far. I mean, the coaching staff might disagree with us, but so far the ideas we're coming up with out here seem to be that Trevon Wesco
Let's go. Yep.
he's more athletic than he's been used for. And, the head coach at West Virginia said he was the best athlete on the whole team. And then he came to us and he's been just used. Yeah, Adam Gase wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire with his schematic brilliance. So
he wouldn't light the world on fire with anything, man. One of the worst hires ever. That's all I always say. How you going to hire somebody who's known for Peyton Manning? Like Peyton Manning needed help. What did he do in Miami?
Nothing. Right?
Yeah, he ruined the players. To me, he ruined Sam Darnold, man. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Sam Darnold, that I covered, another guy covered Miami, USC, and Georgia at Rivals for Rivals.com. So I was there with Sam Darnold, did mountains of film studies on him for his 2 years in college as a starter. And I mean, he came through and absolutely crushed it. There were guys in front of him that were more highly rated, but his skill set, being able to create off schedule, his arm strength, everything like that, it was apt that he was called generational at one particular point in time compared to Andrew Luck and everything. And he was ruined by Adam Gase. So bad coaching can ruin, to me, very talented people, because if Sam Darnold were in this particular draft right here, I still would have him right up there with Trevor Lawrence. But he's only 23 years old.
Right. And people are giving up on him. And it's really interesting because
he's done.
When Sam Darnold came into the league, the offensive coordinator that we had at the time, Jeremy Bates, didn't hire a quarterback coach. Then Adam Gase comes in and doesn't hire a quarterback coach or an offensive coordinator. So Sam Darnold's 3 years in the league. He's never had positional coaching.
Nope.
And that's one of those, it's like, it's maddening when you look at it. Poor guy.
Man, I just shudder to think what he could have been had maybe this regime been the one. And then with a Joe Douglas and guys coming in with a plan, because to me, he fits that particular Kyle Shanahan offense to a T. And you talk about someone, and we're talking about the tight end position, being able to target a tight end position in something like this, where you have these wide zone schemes and play action boots and waggles and everything, and the type of arm strength that he has is very similar to stuff that I know everybody's on Zach Wilson right now. Sam Darnold was doing this stuff in college as well against premier competition. He was elevating his program. People forget when he came on as a starter, was in his first year. That was the year that they played Alabama in the first game of the season. They were absolutely smoked by Alabama. He came on like the third or fourth game and ripped off like 7-8 wins in a row. He was killing it, absolutely crushing it. And it culminated in that Penn State game in the Rose Bowl. And some of the throws in that game, man, that's put him on the map right there. Put him on the national map, and it had people thinking, oh, this guy's going to be the number one pick here pretty soon. Well, it didn't work out that way, but he was still a high draft pick, obviously. But yeah, terrible coaching. Like you said before, Jeremy Bates, Adam Gase, and all this and that. It's terrible, man. I feel bad for him. Feel bad for him. Now the Jets are in position, man, to get some really good draft picks, a lot of draft capital over the next couple of seasons. What is it, 3 picks in the first 36 or something like that?
Yeah,
or
30? Three in the first 35 this year.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Imagine that with Sam Darnold, and you could have used that draft capital to pick up somebody. If we're talking about tight ends, man, and you already have a Sam Darnold on your team, there's no way in hell I wouldn't trade back a little bit, grab me Kyle Pitts, call it a day.
Yeah, interesting.
But now you have to do this.
Now you have, and look, there's a nice sliver of our fan base that's thinking it might be better just to keep Sam, work with him. And then do just that.
You've encountered fans like that? I haven't encountered any fans like that.
Oh, no, they're out there, man. I'm all over the Jets Twitter sphere, and I'm on Jetnation.com.
Gotcha.
So I see all types. I talk to probably 10,000 Jets fans with no exaggeration. So, but there is a segment. Well,
the thousands that come through Top BILLIN Sports aren't with that.
They're on the move on tip.
Yeah, they're on the Zach Wilson tip. They're on the Justin Fields tip or whomever. It was just pretty much, it does not matter. We need to get rid of Sam Darnold. He's trash. He's this and he's that. And I'm thinking like, wow, this is the same guy that I covered at freaking USC and the things that he could do. Now, the turnover things, he's a gunslinger. He's a guy that you're going to put more in the category of like a Brett Favre. He's going to have some turnovers. Brett Favre is going to have some turnovers because he's going to take risks. And you don't want to exercise that out of somebody like Sam Darnold. You want to be able to hone in on that and then be able to kind of reel it back to where he's not throwing 15, 16 interceptions. Maybe he throws 10, but he's also have enough ability with his arm strength and his ability to work off schedule and his ability to work within the framework of just your normal West Coast style offense. Man, he can get you 40-something touchdowns as well, but it's neither here nor there, man. Maybe it'll happen somewhere else. So
maybe, and I hope he gets a minute to sit for a year, kind of collect himself, work with a real offensive staff, maybe somebody like Peyton down in New Orleans or over in Pittsburgh, something like that. But who knows? But you mentioned a guy there. If you were trading back, the first name that you thought maybe if we trade back that you grab, you mentioned Kyle Pitts. Now, is he the guy that's the top of the class?
Kyle Pitts is far and away the best because he offers something that the other guys just can't offer, man. That type of size with that type of short area agility, running the type of routes that he runs, the style of routes that he runs, in and out of his transitions, his catch radius. I mean, I was one of the, if not the first person, just covering Florida on this particular channel on Top BILLIN Sports the last couple of seasons, right? Every one of their games, doing film studies on them and stuff. The minute I seen him finally get his chance, right, his first season under the previous regime, he did come in with Dan Mullen. So his first season there, they didn't quite know what to do with him. They're playing more at just kind of a wide receiver, kind of floating him in or whatever like that. But he caught fire when Kyle Trask came through. Kyle Trask throws the perfect ball for him. Kyle Trask is one of these guys I thought, like, if they did keep a Sam Darnold and they wanted a little bit of ammunition in the back, you know what I'm saying, somebody who wouldn't have to play, he would have been perfect. You could have paired him with the Kyle Pitts. I believe I did something on that on the channel. But Kyle Pitts in a Shanahan style offense, you talk about with the stuff that George Kittle brings. Now, he's not going to bring that in the blocking department, but he could, right, on the perimeter. It's not like he does not want to block. He's improved on that from his first season. But I mean, the guy is actually one of the best pass catchers, regardless of position, right? You could have put him at just a receiver permanently. I still think that he would have been one of the top 3 pass catchers in this, but you add the element of his size and all this and being able to play him and work him in line, wing him off, XZ in the slot and everything like that. He's the best. And I don't think it's really that close. At one particular point in time, I thought Pat Freiermuth was pretty close. I needed to see more from him this year, but he didn't get a chance to show that. And all Kyle Pitts did was progress from that. So I would say it's pretty sizable between him and Freiermuth, but I still think Freiermuth could be a star as well.
Yeah. You know what I like about Kyle Pitts, too, is that, like you said, he already had enough ammo to be considered a great receiving tight end to be in the top end of the first round of the draft. But what he did was he purposely gained weight and worked specifically on his blocking to become a more well-rounded. That's the type of players that you want. They have enough to warrant getting picked, but that's not enough for them. And that's the stuff that really impresses me with a man like Kyle Pitts. I agree with you. He's the guy. And I think he might be I think it's Jamar Chase, but he might be the guy Miami made all those wacky trades. They wanted to be in a pocket to grab Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase, I would think. Or he's dynamic.
Or for the Dolphins, or a Devontae Smith, of course, with the connection to Tua. They're set up very well too. The Dolphins are set up extremely well with how they are right now and the stuff that they have. But the Jets are on that ass, and I can see it with the game plan, with Joe Douglas and being able to get guys specifically for that particular scheme. With the Corey Davises and guys like that. So now you got to complement it correctly. So if Chris Herndon is going to be on the team and be the guy, you need a compliment to him. Pat Freiermuth is that compliment. But where do you get him at? If you get him in the 30s, to me, you had enough ammo. Maybe he goes somewhere before the 35th pick, you said?
Yeah, 36? Well, we're pick 34, right.
34, so 34. I would take him at 34. There's a point in time right there I thought the man was a top 25 pick easily. If you can get him to 34 because of the injury, the surgery or whatever, not really being able to test at the pro day, I think he would be worth it there. But you never know. Maybe he slides down even further than that. But if that's not the case, I like this cat from BC named Hunter Long. I've been watching him for a minute as well. He's a guy that will fit more of a possession type guy, but he can also kind of stretch the field as well. He may be going to stretch the field and just go up over you and get it. But he's a guy that can actually block his ass off as well. He's going to get after a 6'5", 255 type cat right there. I mean, you talking about being a power forward out there, getting it off the top shelf, just being physical, getting after it. It's going to be hard to find another George Kittle, right? You got to have that speed to be George Kittle. He is damn near 4.4 speed, right? 4.52 in that frame, and the ability to block like he does in line. His the catch radius is cool, but it's just the impactful catches and being able to contort your body and just coming up with the right play at the right time. A guy like Hunter Long, not in that mold. Pat Freiermuth is a little bit closer to that. Matter of fact, he's to me a lot closer to that. Pat Freiermuth is really good, but it just depends on your draft strategy, because to me, the Jets still have a ton of holes that they need to fill at premium positions. And where would you want to go with the tight end before those guys? And it may not fall in line with where Pat Freiermuth goes, because you would think if you're the Jets, got to mess with the cornerbacks, you got to mess with the edge, got to mess with the offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to do the quarterback early. So then it pushes stuff down the board. So it just depends on how the draft falls there. But Hunter Long's a guy you should check out for real from BC as well. Yeah. In that complementary role. But if you think Chris Herndon is not the guy, you want to replace him, you want somebody who's a real athlete, guy who can probably give you a 75 catch season and hit 1,000 yards or something like that. Cat from Miami, Brevin Jordan. He's a 5-star cat. Yeah, nice. 5-star cat coming out of Vegas. I covered him in high school. Oh my God, this guy he's a hell of an athlete, and he fits more of that. You remember when they had a guy, or they had him again? They had a guy in Washington, the Jordan Reed. Oh yeah, came from the Florida Gators, right? I think they brought him to San Francisco last season. Well, he's really much in that role right there. And he can be a high volume catch guy. I think he can be what people think Chris Herndon can be. Not saying that Chris Herndon can't be that. I just have never seen it. His last year when Njoku left in Miami, he stepped it up a little bit, I can say for sure. But to me, he just always leaves a little bit more to be desired.
Yeah. Well, Brevin Jordan is one, because I really think that, just like you mentioned, the premium holes that the Jets have is probably going to push tight end to the 3rd round at the earliest. In truth, I'm thinking maybe we have 1/4, 2/5, so I could see it happening there.
What's the pick in the 3rd?
We have 2, so 66 and 86.
Brevin Jordan, 65 people better than Brevin Jordan. Not a chance. But this is according to need for people. So we've seen people who are very good get pushed down in the draft. I could see Brevin Jordan going a little earlier than that, though. But it's the draft. I always say anything's possible. Hunter Long, though, I guess he would be there. But what about? I was going to ask
you, where do you see Hunter Long going if you had to take a guess?
He would be like in that range right there. What you're talking about to me?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So
what about another athletic guy, a move kind of guy, Kenny Yeboah from Ole Miss?
Oh yeah, now we're talking. What do you think
of him? Very much in the Kenny Herndon range right there. Now he was stretching the field, but he was schemed up a lot in Lane Kiffin's offense. I mean, this dude, Lane Kiffin's got to be. I'm sorry, Lane Kiffin might be the best offensive mind in the sport. He was scheming it open to where, like, I'm talking about, they're running dart routes and everything, and he's wide open, getting long gainers. He had multiple long gainers like that against Alabama. And so maybe if you look at his stats, it might be a little bit more misleading that, but he's a very good athlete. He's very much like a Chris Herndon. If you want to start the clock over, he had a really good year there, and he played in a very, very schemed up offense there at Ole Miss. But he's done some things. Has really good hands.
Yeah, I like Kenny
Yeboah. He can get after it too.
Sure thing, because he did that, like, start from nothing. You know, he the best offer he got was Temple. Worked there for 4 years as a graduate student. Went over to Ole Miss and really took to the offense, like you're saying, and he showed up. And that's exactly the types of guys that I like. You know, guys that work their way up. He wasn't a 5-star recruit. Not that I have anything wrong with 5-star recruits, but I always like those blue-collar, work-it-up types. And like Kenny Yeboah showed that, and he's taken advantage of his opportunities. So he's someone I would really like to see the Jets draft. You think he's third roundish, 4th round? Where do you see him going?
I would go in the 4th round for somebody like Kenny Yeboah.
Yeah. Interesting. So before I let you go, I wanted to just get your quick take, on just a few other names.
One more.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Trey McKitty from here in Georgia. Now this guy right here, right? He's one of these guys. Another guy that I covered in high school, and I thought he was going to be a superstar. Originally, he was going to go to Oregon, I think, and then he switched it to Florida State. I mean, he's rocked up, man. He's getting off the bus, scaring people. He's probably about 6'4", 250, something like that. Think about it. He's played in more of a pro style offense before, it being under Jimbo Fisher, and then playing in Georgia's offense as well last year as a graduate transfer. I like guys that can come from more of a pro style system with pro coaches and stuff like that, because they understand professional blocking schemes, which the San Francisco scheme coming to New York, right? San Francisco the East. Right. That's something that he will be able to adjust to. And I think he has a pretty good value to what he can do in the receiving game. He just hasn't really had the opportunity. Bad quarterback play last year, I think. Bad quarterback play again at Georgia, or at least as far as targeting the tight ends go. I think he'd be one of these guys that people are going to see him and be like, wow, where did this guy come from? He's a guy that they could look at in the 4th, 5th round as well.
Trey McKitty, that was one of the guys I was going to ask you about. In truth, I only just started looking at him a little bit, highlights, and in that level, I haven't dug in deep yet. But he's a name that's interesting to me. I'm happy to hear you say that. And I'm happy, when you look at a team like the Jets, who, like we were just talking about, their needs are really presenting a situation where tight end isn't going to be up top. So Kyle Pitts, Pat Freiermuth, even Brevin Jordan, I think is probably outside of what we're going to end up doing. But the other guys like Hunter Long, like Trey McKitty, if you think that they can be NFL stars, that's what I'm like, I'm really hoping to be able to turn some of the Jet Nation onto these names so we can start to get to know them a little bit better for when we do draft them.
What about taking a flyer on a guy like Jordan Reed for a year to help people adjust? I'm not sure if he should be. I would only imagine that San Francisco would have signed him just on a 1-year deal there. So he's played with Shanahan twice. And he's a damn good athlete. He was going to be a superstar at one particular point in time, but I mean, he's made of styrofoam. If you blow on him, you might get a concussion or a hamstring injury or something like that. So
that's the worst.
Yeah,
isn't that the worst when you got those great athletes? Yeah, he can.
Oh, he's the truth.
Do you know if he re-signed anywhere, or is he still out there? For some reason I thought
I don't know for sure. I'll have to check on that. You think he was signed with? I don't know. They drafted some tight ends there, so I would imagine he would have been a flyer just for the simple fact that maybe getting those tight ends ready right there. But you think with George Kittle back and then the tight ends that they drafted, I could imagine them letting him just still be a free agent there. So we have to check on that.
Well, it's interesting too, because I thought, like you said, San Francisco East, and we haven't brought in a single player. The only one is Tevin Coleman,
and he was with the Falcons as well with him. So so he's been with LaFleur for a minute. They know what he can do, and he can do a lot. He's just another guy, man. You blow on him, man, he's going to tear a trap muscle or something like that. So but he can run. He can run. He was real fun to watch here in Atlanta with Devontae Freeman when they went to the Super Bowl and everything. But he can run. He's run. That's another position though that I was thinking about for the Jets, running back and a high-end running back. But they don't necessarily do that with that system. They take guys like Tevin Coleman and make them stars. So and I like the backs that the Jets already had.
Well, give us some thoughts on that. I mean, do you have anything to say about our stable? I'm really high on the little group that we have right now. A big batch of no names, but I like them. And I think that this is the perfect system to see if they're going to be able to expand their roles and become, just like you said, the next back that this system takes out of nowhere and makes into somebody.
And throw me some names out there. Josh Adams.
We have Ty Johnson.
I love. Ty Johnson, I love, right? Yeah, he played in Maryland and everything. I actually did a film study on him. You can check that on the channel if you want there. Ty Johnson has a serious burst. Hey, he's got to be one of these guys that Shanahan, he reminds me of the guys that they had in San Francisco, like a Raheem Mostert and this guys. He's a guy that can get to the second and third level and take it the distance. So these guys are going to want to create explosive plays, not necessarily having to throw the ball down the field all the time. It's be more of a ball-controlled offense, but they want to generate explosive plays in the run game. And that'll be a lot of their vertical attack too, because they feel with the displacement of the blocking, the area blocking, the stretch zone, inside zone, mid zone, and everything like that. Very vast run game right there throughout zone. Those guys can make vertical plays like that, but you still got to be able to have some of these guys that can work this quick and mid-range game and to be able to set that up as well. So you want to pack, they actually want you to pack more guys in a box, because if you can defeat those guys, there's nobody back there to really corral a running game in. The Jets saw that when they played San Francisco last year with Raheem Mostert breaking off that long-ass touchdown run. And
first play of the game, wasn't it? I think it was the first offensive play. That was a fun way to start.
That was that was
what do
crazy.
You think? Oh, it's the worst. We had hopes going into that game that we had a terrible week one. We're like, all right, man, we're going to settle it down. And that was the first play. We're like, okay, turn it off. Like, that's how it felt. Oh, man, that was the game where we realized this season is going right in the toilet, man. What do you think of LaMichael Pirine?
Remember cover him at Florida. I used to call him P. Diddy because he was always dancing around. I'm like, damn, LaMichael, put your foot in the ground. And I don't know if it got back to him or whatever like that. It was pretty popular in the channel or whatever like that. I said, I used to say, here we go again. P. Diddy, always dancing. He started to stick his foot in the ground, though, man, and he started running a little bit harder, and he looked to be pretty good. The thing about LaMichael Pirine is he's slow as we cuss here.
Yeah.
He's slow as you know what.
You can say whatever you want. Yeah, we're good. We're safe.
He's slow as you know. He's extremely slow, but he's one of these guys that can break off consistently 4 and 5 if it's blocked up right. So this is the Jets, though. You gotta be thinking about that offensive line, because none of this to me matters if that offensive line continues to be what it is. I love what I saw from Mekhi Becton. I always wondered about the right tackle position, and they were in position to get a potential another superstar offensive lineman, but it is what it is, I guess, man. But I like George Fant, but I think he could be slid inside. Maybe if you stick somebody, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of good offensive linemen in this draft. Now, this is one of the things where I would say this is a pretty good draft for offensive linemen, especially exterior players. I don't know.
Yeah.
Got a lot of picks, though.
Right. And that's going to be our priority. We didn't hit that barely at all. We drafted one depth guy, signed Dan Feeney. But I think that's clearly going to be a priority in the draft, interior offensive lineman, or at least how they're going to address the side. Joe Douglas did a nice scouting job with George Fant. Nobody was really looking at him as a starting right tackle. Joe Douglas went and grabbed him, and he's done well on a bad team. So I think he's a good guy to, at least put another year's worth of faith into. But we're definitely going to be drafting some interior offensive linemen to get this thing going. Well, McGovern can he ended up the last 6 weeks of the season, he played significantly better, more closer to his 2019 form, because he had a rough year, man. But you look at all the people over the years who've had difficulty or dips in output during an Adam Gase regime. He's just one of 24 people. So like I said, the end of the year he came back. There's the possibility of moving him to guard and drafting a Creed Humphrey or somebody like that.
There you go. You know what I mean? Now you're talking. Now I'm getting excited right there. You're talking my language right there. You draft a Creed Humphrey and maybe slide him over or whatever like that. Or if you were to draft a Creed Humphrey and come along with one of these unheralded exterior tackles and maybe George Fant moved inside, you're just trying to get the 5 best offensive linemen you can right there, right? I'm not sure about McDermott. What'd you think there?
Yeah, no, I'm not McDermott, I don't have much to say. But I think, what did you think about, we drafted a tackle last year and the idea was to move him to guard. He got injured and he basically redshirted the whole year. His name is Cam
Clark. Man from USC? Oh, Cam.
Yeah,
okay.
No. Yeah, Cam Clark. You got any thoughts on him?
I can't say that I have any thoughts on him. My man was another guy here from Georgia that played at the right tackle position, and he was a high-level player in high school, and he was pretty good at USC as well. His name is escaping me right now. Cover him. He was Sam Darnold. Chuma Edoga.
Yeah, Chuma Edoga. Yeah.
Chuma Edoga. Yeah, Chuma Edoga has some talent to him, man. He just has a lot of these mental lapses and everything like that. But at one particular point in time, Chuma Edoga looked like he was definitely one of the best high school offensive linemen. And when his first couple of years at USC, man, I'm like, man, Chuma's spectacular, man. He was extremely physical, extremely athletic as well, getting out on the second level and comboing up to the next level and everything like that. Chuma Edoga's a guy to watch out for, but to me, he's a false start waiting to happen. He's a penalty waiting. He does some goofy stuff.
Well, just like you said, he plays really well for a minute and then has like just one of those plays where it looks like he's not even there. You know, it's like he gets spun around, completely misses the guy for a sack, and he gets injured a lot too. So it's been, we've been using him somewhat of a swing tackle, but I think he also wasn't ready for swing tackle. So again, with these regimes that we've had, just kind of sticking young players in positions that they shouldn't be in, I think is really a detriment to their progression in their career. And it hasn't been, Chuma Edoga's tenure with us has been rocky at best. I have hope for him, but
your boy Adam Gase, man, reminds me of Rick from The Walking Dead, man. Rick was always getting everybody killed. So Adam Gase is like Rick. He got everybody killed up in there. So he killed a lot of careers, man. So and maybe it's just time for a fresh start for some of these guys. So I don't blame them if they do go with Zach Wilson and kind of refresh on a lot of positions or whatever like that. But it's sad because a lot of these guys were some talented guys before they got with Adam Gase.
Yeah, and sometimes you just got to do that. I mean, look, we have a rookie head coach, rookie offensive coordinator, reality of rookie GM. So, making them have to rebuild a player who's clearly damaged as their first job, I don't know if that's the best way to start. So that's just push and reset. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. The situation, sorry, bum deal. Let's all start over. And that's the way I think we're going to end up doing it. But like I said before, I wanted to ask you real quick, just a couple names that I'm also looking into, and I just wanted to see if you had any thoughts. One is one of my favorite, late round sleepers, if you will, is Nick Eubanks out of Michigan. And any thoughts on him?
Yeah, Nick Eubanks. The thing about Michigan is they were kind of sporadic and kind of schizophrenic on offense. So one time he was playing in a nice pro style system at one particular point in time. They had Pep Hamilton and all those guys there. And then Jim Harbaugh coming with the guy that he got from Alabama, Josh Gaddis. Then it became more of a spread, but they couldn't really execute it. So he was kind of lost in the sauce. But Nick Eubanks, one of these guys like a Trey McKitty, man. I think that he get into the NFL, it'll be a little bit better for him, man. I like his hands. I remember he had a really good spring game one time in Michigan. But he's done some stuff, man. He can catch the ball down the field. He's one of those, he's about 6'3", 6'4" type cats.
Let me see here. Nicky, 6'5", 255. So he's
6'5",
on the bigger side.
Nick Eubanks?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, so they would have him playing kind of the sniffer role, winged off and everything like that. I think he's a guy that in the NFL, man, he could show himself to be something a little bit different like Trey McKitty. He just was in a bad spot there in Michigan.
Yeah. So he's somebody that I like. Another one, I'm a UVA guy. I lived in Charlottesville forever. And families from there. So I caught wind of the UVA stuff, especially with the March Madness and then the football season and everything. Tony Poljan he's one of the biggest tight ends in the entire class, 6'7", 265. Any thoughts on him?
Yeah, as one of them complimentary guys, man. Possession, like I think New York Jets, San Francisco East going to need somebody though that can really get after it and create after the catch. I'm not sure he would be that particular guy right there, but I will put him along the lines of a Hunter Long, man. Go and get it off the top shelf, box you out, just get you some first downs. But they need somebody who can turn a first down into a touchdown, and I think that's what makes George Kittle special. And is there one in the 5th round or whatever you say they're looking at? You would probably have to go a little bit earlier than that, but I think it would be a pretty good addition. There's no doubt about it. He wouldn't stand out to me. He would be like Tyler Kroft or somebody like that, right?
Right.
I'm not saying Tyler Kroft is at one particular point in time at Cincinnati. I said that he looked pretty good, so he would be along the lines of that. But it's like, can you go outside of your body? What more do you have to offer? Like if you're talking about being premium, I'm not so sure that he's in the mode where he could just be premium, but I think he could be definitely a complimentary piece to somebody who is premium.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like I said, the fan base is really hoping that Chris Herndon could be there. But I like the way you started. It's like that's not even who he was really in the first
In
place. You don't want to
college.
take people right. You don't want to
Yeah.
take somebody's top end away. Hey, if you work hard and get up there, that's fine. But the truth is that he's being looked at in a light that he was unlikely to achieve anyway. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking it might be time. If not this year, I'm hoping they bring in somebody, but maybe next year they go for the tight end position. But I'd like to see them address it. I value the tight end position a little bit more than some others. I love 12 personnel. I love, and then have
Well,
when you're a 21
you better
personnel.
love it if you're talking about this
Yeah.
particular scheme. If they run it like they did with
I,
Shanahan, you better love 12 personnel or in
oh, I
21
love it.
personnel.
Yeah, well, 21, you need that guy that can be versatile. He could pop out and catch the passes and be able to help out in the run game and all that, which is why I
Yeah,
think
he's
we don't
gonna end up
have
being
that guy.
he's gonna have to end up being a lead blocker on a lot of those zone plays. Kyle Juszczyk played a pivotal role in their success in San Francisco on offense, and a lot of the time you can find out where the ball was going by where he was going. So that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. He's
interesting.
one of these guys. There's a guy, man. They got a guy at LSU. His name's Tony Carter. He comes from Georgia as well. He played a very similar role for the LSU Tigers. Number 44. He looks crazy out there, man, with the black face paint and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Long hair he had at one particular point in time. But he's a guy that was a fullback when they had that pro style offense with Les Miles in them, and then he transitioned to an H-back tight end. So he has that positional versatility there and being able to also be a lead blocker like Kyle Juszczyk is. Kyle Juszczyk is a dude. I thought that was going to be the first guy that the Jets targeted, to be honest with you, but the 49ers quickly snapped him back up.
Yeah, they didn't want to lose that because he had like not a lot of people possess what he possesses. He's a rare breed. He's got enough of every right. So yeah,
Everything.
I thought that the Jets were going to make more of a swing at a lot more 49ers players, but like I said, only Tevin Coleman so far. I mean, Sherman is still out there, but overall, the players
That's
that
where
would be interested are
That's
gone.
where I thought they were going to be was more of the defensive players. To be honest with you, I thought it would be a lot of defensive players that would come over. I didn't think they would be looking at a lot of their offensive players. A lot of their offensive players are younger, so they're not going to give up a lot of those guys. A lot of their really superstar type Deebo Samuels and guys like that. So Brandon Ayuk's and Mike McGlinchey, and these guys.
Right.
So, but Juszczyk was a guy that I was like, oh, he's gone. I was like, they're not going to be able to read. The Jets are going to want him bad. So then that makes you think, like, what exactly are they? He spent his whole time under Kyle Shanahan, so he's right-hand man and everything like that, along with another guy. So I wonder if they're going to do a variation of that on offense or if they're going to be San Francisco of the East. So that remains to be seen. Maybe he does not. Maybe he's an 11 personnel guy. And then maybe you're like, all right, well, maybe tight end is different.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the types of receivers that the Jets have, we already had all big-bodied receivers, and then they go out and they grab Corey Davis, a guy who's, it just doesn't look like, player-wise, that they're attempting to mimic what they have in San Francisco. So it's interesting. I mean, who knows what they do in the draft, but it's interesting. Maybe LaFleur wants to come in here and create his own brand. He learned from this, he learned from that, and he's making his own, which would be, that'd be kind of cool. But the success of the Shanahan system is something you would want to at least bring over to some degree. So who knows? But it doesn't look like we're just trying to, make that exact carbon copy, which is interesting for us.
I think at the very least
they'll cutting edge.
At the very least, they would want to carbon copy that run system. What he does in a pass game could be a little bit different. What stands out about Shanahan, no matter where he goes, is the run game. That's a tried and true approach ever since his father and everything. So that may be something that's very similar, as you see with the Tevin Coleman coming in right there. But maybe the pass game is a little bit different. So then maybe we have to come back and reassess that. Maybe if it's a lot more 11 personnel, then maybe tight end then becomes something that you would definitely want to target. But if it's 12 personnel and you can have multiple tight ends on the field, it kind of, I'm not saying it devalues the position, but you got two guys that are there to do one job essentially. So we have to see how he works it right there. If it's 11 personnel and he wants to be more explosive down the field, that's a whole different ball of wax right there.
Right. It is. Yeah, man. It'll be exciting. And because like you said early on, I think we finally have a plan. And that alone, it sounds so silly to say it, but we haven't had a plan in a long time. We're just random picking this dude. Nothing made sense. So we finally have a plan. At least it looks like that. So we're excited over here, man. But Murf, I just want to take a second and thank you so much. Anything that you want to let anybody know that you're doing, plug anything before you go?
Oh man, just come on through the Top BILLIN Sports, baby. But you better come with your hard hat on there because it gets a little real over there. You're talking about being a barber shop or a locker room feel or whatever like that. You got to come in there with them and leave your feelings behind. But I'm always gonna give you the best content, I feel, period. Right? Very detailed content. I put my heart and soul in everything I do anyway, but especially in this content, baby, if you want some really good stuff, definitely have some Jet stuff there, but I cover a myriad of teams there. So if you just want to learn about football, period, come on through the Top BILLIN Sports on YouTube, baby.
Yeah. And that's why I like you, man. It's like, honestly, I think that you cover such a wide array. I learn from you. You're one of the guys I lean on for some player eval and some deep dives and everything. So, but listen, man, I want to thank you for coming on. You're literally one of my favorite YouTube personalities, and I couldn't be more grateful for your time. And I'll put everything in the description. But thanks again, Murf, and you have a great day.
All right, man. Salute to you, baby. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. How great is that guy, huh? His stockpile of awesome videos runs deep. It's all on his YouTube channel. You can check it out at Top BILLIN on YouTube. Top, TOPBILLIN, with the apostrophe after the N. Sports on YouTube. And you can also find him on Twitter as well, Murf Baldwin. I'm going to put all of his information in the description of this very video so you can find him. Do me a favor. When you go over there to check him out, tell him GreenBean sent you. Let him know. Let him know what's going on over here. Let him know that we loved his video over here, his interview over here, and that the Jets fans are with him and we appreciate him. Let him know GreenBean sent you. Do me that, huh? That said, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. Again, my words mean one thing. I love you. I do. I sincerely hope every one of you are happy. I hope every one of you, all of your draft hopes come true. It's impossible. It's impossible for all of us to be happy, right? But we can if we lessen our stance. Shake up the rigidity a bit. Shake it up, man. Soften the stance. Listen a bit more to each other. Be excellent to each other. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It means the world to me. If you'd like to find me on Twitter, it's Being the Jets Fan. If you'd like to see me on Instagram, I put all sorts of little funny, quippy things up there. That's GreenBean the Jets Fan on Twitter. On Instagram. And you can follow my national coaster tour with my family. We're hitting Busch Gardens tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. Busch Gardens. Full-time coaster tour on YouTube as well. And I thank you, as always, for being here. You are the absolute best. Anything I can ever do for you, please find someone that lives closer. Just kidding. You let me know. We'll take care of it. Go Jets.